The silence was never peace. It was a weapon designed to make you chase. That is why you leave those interactions feeling guilty, panicked, and strangely responsible for everything. Nothing was explained, yet somehow you still felt accused, abandoned, and pushed into emotional submission. Covert narcissists rarely need shouting when silence can make you interrogate your own reality. You replay texts, facial expressions, pauses, and tiny details, searching for the exact mistake. That confusion is not random because the punishment works best when it leaves no fingerprints. Most people think silence means they need space, maturity, or time to calm down. Sometimes that is true, but punishment silence feels different, colder, sharper, and strangely theatrical. It appears quiet on the surface, while underneath it is full of accusation, control, and contempt. And the first useful truth is simple: healthy silence does not make you feel hunted. When someone loves you, distance may hurt, but it does not feel like psychological warfare. Punishing silence is meant to create a vacuum where your mind supplies the blame. That is why covert narcissists use it after disagreement, boundaries, success, or simple independence. They want your nervous system doing the dirty work their words would expose too clearly. You stop focusing on what they did and start obsessing over how to reconnect. That shift is the trap, because now your energy moves from truth to appeasement. You may know this feeling already, especially if warmth suddenly turned into eerie emotional disappearance. No explanation, no repair, no adult conversation, just a silence heavy with hidden punishment. That sudden coldness lands hard because your brain expects continuity, not relational whiplash without context. So you start reaching, apologizing, clarifying, fixing, and proving good intentions nobody honestly requested. But the silence was never there to solve anything, it was there to train you. It trains you to fear displeasing them more than they fear mistreating you. It trains you to confuse access with love and relief with emotional safety. And once that pattern forms, they can control your mood without saying much at all. The cruel genius of covert punishment is that it hides behind plausible innocence. If you confront them, they act calm, tired, confused, or offended by your reaction. They say they were busy, overwhelmed, thinking, or just avoiding drama for a while. Now you are stuck defending your pain while they defend their right to withdraw. That is why covert narcissistic silence is so destabilizing, because it rewrites the scene. You remember being hurt, but suddenly you are the one seeming intense, demanding, or needy. This is also why smart, capable, emotionally aware people get trapped for so long. The trap is not low intelligence, it is repeated emotional conditioning under uncertainty. So when they go silent, your system tries to restore connection before examining the pattern. That does not mean you are weak, it means your attachment alarm was activated. And covert narcissists often sense exactly how to trigger that alarm with precision. They study what matters to you, then withhold it when control starts slipping. If you set a boundary, they become unreachable and suddenly emotionally unavailable. If you confront disrespect, they stop responding and let the tension punish you. If you celebrate success, they go quiet because your confidence threatens their hidden insecurity. If you ask for fairness, they vanish long enough to make fairness feel expensive. A jealous coworker smiles in meetings, then ignores your messages when collaboration actually matters. A toxic parent suddenly stops calling after you decline a guilt-coded request. A partner goes silent after twisting your words, then waits for you to beg. A fake friend leaves your message unread right after you stop being endlessly available. Notice the pattern. Silence appears whenever your autonomy rises or their entitlement gets challenged. It is not a random mood, it is a response to losing unearned power. And the most damaging part is usually not the silence itself, but your interpretation. You assume there must be something to fix, explain, soften, or make easier. That assumption keeps you in their frame, where they decide when reality resumes. Meanwhile, they learn something dangerous. Your discomfort can be used to manage your behavior. This is why the silence often follows moments that should have clarified everything. You thought the argument exposed the issue, but the silence changes the subject completely. Now the issue is no longer their behavior, it is your desperation for contact. That reversal is how covert control survives without obvious scenes, threats, or direct admissions. They can live passive while still making you carry the full emotional burden. And if you are empathetic, you become even easier to bend under pressure. You consider their stress, childhood, workload, fears, and possible pain before naming your own. That compassion would be beautiful with healthy people, but manipulators convert it into access. So let us name the hidden move queerly. Silence becomes punishment when communication is strategically withheld. Not every quiet moment is abusive, but this kind arrives with emotional intent. It aims to make you feel insecure enough to surrender your perspective. It aims to make you chase closeness instead of requiring accountability from them. It aims to make your body fear distance more than your mind values truth. Once you understand that, their silence stops feeling mysterious and starts feeling revealing. And here is the part many people miss. Your reaction feeds the cycle. The longer you explain yourself to silence, the more power silence gains. Every follow-up text tells them their withdrawal worked, and now you are destabilized. Every long apology says I will work harder even before understanding the accusation. Every attempt to force clarity teaches them they can avoid clarity and still win. That is why arguing with punishing silence usually leaves you more powerless, not less. You are trying to solve a problem while they are managing a power imbalance. Different goals create different conversations, and yours cannot succeed inside their secret game. So the power shift begins when you stop treating silence like a puzzle. You do not decode it endlessly, you read it as information instead. Information says this person withholds connection when they want emotional leverage over you. That insight changes your next move from chasing to observing carefully now. Observe the timing, the trigger, the public image, and the private emotional consequence. Silence after your boundary means punishment, not confusion, especially if warmth returns after compliance. Silence after you disagree means they prefer control over genuine mutual repair. Silence after your success means your joy activated envy they cannot admit. Silence with public niceness means they want deniability while you carry invisible bruises. Once you see those links, the fog lifts faster than you expect. And here's the deeper danger. Punishing silence can make you betray yourself quietly. You shrink honest feelings because honesty keeps getting followed by emotional abandonment. You become careful, filtered, agreeable, and hyper-aware of tiny shifts in tone. Soon you are not relating anymore, you are managing the possibility of withdrawal. That is the real cost, not a missed reply, but a rewritten personality. You start living around their reactions instead of inside your own clear values. And that is exactly why this pattern must be answered differently now. The common mistake is over-explaining because over-explaining sounds calm but actually leaks your power. You send paragraphs trying to be fair, reasonable, precise, and impossible to misunderstand. But manipulative silence does not reward precision, it rewards your willingness to abandon yourself. The more carefully you explain, the less carefully they have to act. Another mistake is asking what is wrong when you already know the pattern. You are hoping for honesty from someone currently using dishonesty through omission. They may answer vaguely, deny everything, or accuse you of being dramatic again. Now you are trapped in their favorite arena, defending perceptions that were injured intentionally. A better response begins before you speak, because your nervous system must stop sprinting. Do not answer the panic with action, answer it with a pause. Step back from the phone, the inbox, the hallway, or the bedroom doorway. Name the pattern privately before you engage publicly, even if only in one sentence. This is not distance for peace, this is distance used for pressure. That private naming matters because clarity breaks the spell before behavior breaks you. Then reduce your response to something clean, brief, and emotionally unhooked always. You can say, I am available for respectful conversation, not withdrawal games. Or say, when you want to talk directly, you know where I am. Or say nothing at all because not every manipulation deserves collaborative energy. Silence loses force when it stops producing the reaction it was designed to extract. That does not mean becoming cold, cruel, or emotionally numb overnight either. It means refusing to finance someone else's control with your attention and self-doubt. It means letting their silence reveal them instead of redefining your worth. It means accepting that unresolved tension is sometimes the price of self-respect. If a parent used guilt and distance, this pattern can feel heartbreakingly familiar. If love was inconsistent, silence may hit your oldest fear of being cast out. That is why your body can react like danger even when nothing is spoken. Your chest tightens, your mind races, and suddenly your standards start negotiating. This is where emotional power becomes quiet, not loud and steady now. You stop auditioning for basic decency from people who enjoy your instability. You stop mistaking relief for love when they finally return acting normal. You stop treating reconnection as proof that the previous harm was imaginary. No apology, no ownership, just the light message that pressures you to reset. If you accept that reset too quickly, the cycle gets renewed without repair. So when they reappear, do not rush to match their comfort level. Slow the pace, keep your memory, and respond from clarity instead of relief. You can be civil without pretending nothing happened, and that distinction protects you. A simple response like "I noticed the withdrawal" keeps reality on the table. Or say "We can continue" when communication stays direct and respectful consistently. Notice what these responses do? They do not beg, defend, chase, or collapse. They place responsibility back where it belongs on the person choosing disconnection as control. That is the emotional posture covert narcissists fear most: calm recognition without pursuit. Because once you stop chasing, their silence starts exposing their emptiness instead. They were never powerful because they withdrew. They seemed powerful because you followed. When you stop following, the illusion weakens and your center returns quietly. This does not guarantee they will change, and that truth matters deeply. Some people will escalate when silence stops working because control hates resistance. They may become sarcastic, victimized, charming, or suddenly urgent to pull you back. That does not mean your boundary failed, it means your boundary was felt. A healthy person responds to clarity with clarity, not with strategic emotional punishment. That standard will save you years once you stop negotiating against it. And if you needed permission to stop explaining yourself endlessly, take it now. You are allowed to trust repeated patterns more than isolated sweet moments. You are allowed to call silence manipulative when it reliably follows truth, boundaries, or independence. You are allowed to step back without proving your case to the jury. You are allowed to protect your peace before someone finally admits what they were doing. Because deep down, your body already knew this silence carried a message. The message was simple: come back smaller if you want connection again. Now you can answer with a different message: I will not shrink for connection. I will not confuse your withdrawal with wisdom, depth, or emotional superiority. I will not chase access to someone who uses access like a reward. I will stay with what is true, even when silence tries to blur it. That is how you break the punishment, not by winning them back, but by seeing clearly. And once you see clearly, their silence becomes less of a wound and more of a warning. Warnings are useful because they tell you where love ends and control begins. So the next time they go quiet, do not rush to fill the void. Let the silence speak for them and listen to what it reveals. Then choose yourself so calmly that their game finds nowhere left to land.